Good day. We are here to report about the Module 3.2, interpreting different nonconformities and legal sanction resulting to ship's detention. Types of PSC deficiencies and how to deal with these. PSC stands for Port State Control. Is the inspection of foreign ships in national port to verify that the condition of the ship and its equipment comply with the requirement of international regulation and that the ship is manned and operated in compliance with the rules. What action should the ship staff, particularly the master, take to avoid any delays to the vessel once a PSC deficiency has been identified? After the port state inspection is completed, a report of the inspection is provided to the master of the ship. At the least, master must check these three things before signing: name of the ship and date of inspection, any deficiencies identified during the inspection, if the vessel is detained because of the identified deficiencies. After a PSC inspection with NIL deficiency, master needs to file the report as per the filling of the system of the company. Master may also be required to save a scanned copy of the inspection report in the electronic PMS of the ship. PMS stands for a Planned Maintenance Systems, allows ship owners and operators to plan, perform, and document vessel maintenance in interval complying with the class and manufacturer requirements. If the company is subscribed to the Q88, it is prudent for the master to update the Q88 database with the latest PSC inspection date. Q88 means Questionnaire 88, widely referred to as Q88, was first issued in 1988 and used to assess vessel suitability and risk when chartering tankers. Even when the inspection has resulted in no deficiencies, the master must inform the shore office about the PSC inspection. Other than that, there are no other actions that are required for the PSC inspection.
PSC report with deficiencies. If the PSC inspection result in noting some deficiencies, yes, would be ticked in the Form A of the PSC report. All the identified deficiencies will be then described in the Form B of the PSC report, which will be attached to the Form A. An action code is provided against each noted deficiency in Form B of the PSC inspection report. There will be one or more of these action codes for each of the deficiencies. Code 10. Deficiency rectified. Code 15. Rectify deficiency at next port. Code 16. Rectify deficiency within 14 days. Code 17. Rectify deficiency before departure. Code 18. Rectify deficiency within 3 months. Code 30. Detainable deficiency. Code 40. Next port inform. Code 45. Rectify detainable deficiency at the next port 50 flags state console inform. Code 55. Flag state console. Code 70. Recognize organization inform. Code 85. Investigation of the contravention of discharge provision or MARPOL. Code 99. Other. Rectifying the deficiencies. I always believe that finding the defect is difficult than rectifying it. So once a deficiency has been identified, it should not be difficult to rectify it. But the question is, who needs to endorse the rectification of identified deficiency? Can the statement from the master that the deficiency has been rectified be enough? Do the PSA inspector needs to revisit the vessel to confirm rectification? Or is the class that need to rectify the rectification of deficiency.
Code 17 deficiencies. Code 17 deficiencies are the most common deficiencies during PSC inspection. All the deficiencies with Code 17 must be rectified before departure. And the most common area of doubt is if the PSC needs to revisit to verify that the Code 17 deficiency has been rectified. PSC at some port may be required to revisit for verification, and at other port it may not be necessary. Master of the vessel must clarify with the PSC inspector if the verification is required or not. If verification is required, the master must inform the PSC through the agent after the deficiency has been rectified. After the verification, master must ensure all the Code 17 deficiencies has been marked with Code 10, which means that deficiency has been rectified. Irrespective of if PSC requires the verification of closeout or not, it is important that any Code 17 deficiencies is rectified before vessel depart the port. A vessel that departs a port without rectifying the Code 17 deficiency is considered to be an unseaworthy ship. Taking an unseaworthy ship to the sea can have serious repercussion of the master of the ship. If the PSC does not require the reinspection of the closeout of the deficiencies, it is a good idea to send an email to the port state through agent informing that the deficiencies had been rectified. Deficiencies other than Code 17. Code 17 deficiencies require quick action. The deficiencies need to be closed before departure from the port. But that is not the case with other deficiencies such as Code 15, which is to be rectified before departure from next port, or Code 18, which is to be rectified within 3 months. While the time period for getting the deficiency rectified is different in each of these deficiencies, the process is the same. For example, for Code 15 deficiency, master must send the confirmation of closeout deficiency before departure from next port. Or it is required for the PSC inspector to verify the closeout of deficiency, his presence must be required through the agent in ample time.
Detainable deficiencies. Detainable deficiencies are serious and hence the process of closeout of detainable deficiencies is also different from that for other deficiencies. The usual confusion is what makes a Code 17 deficiency a detainable deficiency. For example, is start not working a Code 17 deficiency or a detainable deficiency? Well, the line that separates the Code 17 deficiency from a detainable deficiency is thin but not too difficult for the port state officer to identify. The procedure to use to identify a detainable deficiency is provided to the port state officer in PSC handbook of the MOU. For example, for Paris MOU, below is the main criteria for PSCU to decide for the detention of the ship. Ships which are unsafe to proceed to a sea will be detained upon the first inspection, irrespective of the time the ship will stay in port. The ship will be detained with the deficiencies on the ship are sufficiently serious to merit PSCU returning to the ship to be satisfied that they have been rectified before the ship sails. Paris MOU handbook for PSC inspectors further gives the deficiency areas that can be considered to be the ground for detention. For example, the following are the deficiencies under SOLAS that can be considered to be the ground of detention. These are just guidelines. A deficiency is only in any of these areas that does not mean that the ship will be detained. For example, let us consider this criterion: absence, not compliance, or serious deterioration of the lines, shapes, or sound signals does not mean that the vessel will be detained if the one navigational light is not working Absolutely not. But the none of the lights are working. There is something serious about the deficiency, and in the most certain, the vessel will be detained.
The procedure of vessel's detention. If the PSCO or Port State Control Officer decides to detain the ship, they will issue the notice of detention to the master. Most of the flag state requires the master or company to notify them in case the vessel is detained by any port state control. Master need to confirm with the company if flag state needs to be informed by the vessel. Appeal procedures. If master or company consider that vessel has been unreasonably detained, the company can send the appeal notice to the PSC. Different PSCs would have different appeal procedures, which can be either found on their website or can be received through the port agent. Contrary to the common belief, it is not too uncommon for the flag or ship owner to appeal against the detention of the ship. If the vessel is detained, it affects the ship's operation as no one wants to hire a ship that has been recently detained by port state control. Even if the ship gets a hire, it will be on low freight rate as the shipper would have been bargaining power because of the recent detention of the vessel. Apart from the company's brand image gets a beating, the database of the very low performing ship and companies is publicly posted on the website of most of the PSC MOUs. MOU stands for Memorandum of Understanding. It is a formal agreement between two or more parties. As per MOU between different port states, they have common documented standards and procedure for the ship's inspection. And finally, detention of the ship contributes towards a gray or blacklisting of the flag. So, when so much is at stake, if the master, company, or flag believe that the vessel has been unreasonably detained, it is always worth to initiate the appeal procedure. The appeal does not necessarily be for not agreeing the deficiency. The appeal can also be made if the owner or flag is of the opinion that the deficiency should have been the Code 17 deficiency and not the detainable deficiency. Close out of detention deficiency. Once the notification have been done, it is time to work on closing the detention deficiencies as soon as possible to keep the delays to the minimum. And the first thing we have to do is to understand the deficiency correctly. We cannot afford to misunderstand the deficiency and put our efforts toward areas which would not be required to close out the deficiency.
Detention list. For the purpose of providing more timely information on detentions, the Port State Control Committee, the Tokyo MOU, decided to publish detention list in an online mode from January 2007. It is advised that the online detention list is generated the real-time basis and could be updated from the time to time without advice notice. The online detention list is displayed below. What are ship detention lists? Ships can be detained as a result of a port state control inspection by our safety surveyors. We publish detention list reports on ships that do not comply with our port state control requirements. Port state control is a key element in maintaining a safe international marine transport industry. Despite the extensive political and public debate around marine safety, some sections of the industry continue to jeopardize life, property, and the environment by operating unsafe ships and using less competent crews. We conduct an extensive port state control program in an open, objective, and accountable manner. These inspections are undertaken in line with the authority contained within the International Marine Organization Convention on Ship Safety Pollution Prevention and the provision of the Australian Navigation Act 2012 and marine orders. Each month will publish details of ships detained after inspections by our port marine surveyors.
Number 1. Faulty lifeboat engine. Inspection of ship's safety and its crew is always given the highest priority by surveyors. Lifeboats are an integral part of ship's safety. A malfunctioned or faulty lifeboat engine will definitely detain a ship. It is therefore important that the ship is properly tried, serviced, and tested before inspection. Additional important areas of inspections of lifeboats: feasible of starting of lifeboat engine by one person. Condition of chain. Fuel oil tank inspection. Propeller test. Number 2. Faulty GMDSS equipment. Erroneous navigation equipment can lead the ship to extremely unfavorable condition. If there is a fault with the ship's GMDSS equipment, the ship will definitely face serious problems during survey. GMDSS stands for Global Maritime Distress and Safety System. It's an international recognized distress and radio communication safety system for ship which relied on manual Morse code system on 500 kHz and voice radio telephony on channel 16 and 2182 kHz. Additional important areas of inspection and GMDSS equipment: test of reserve energy source or battery, condition of GMDSS to receive necessary data, availability of record for MF and HF DSC messages. Number 3. Corrosion or holes on launching system and machinery. An easy trick to get rid of all the corrosion on any ship machinery is to paint over it. However, ship surveys are smart people and they know about all the problems that can occur on a ship. Launching system on a deck are easily visible and even easier to inspect. The bottom line is never conceal a problem on launching system. Additional important areas of inspection on launching system and machinery: corroded and disfigured bolts or nuts, corrosion on davit and foundation of the machinery, excessively painted areas. Number 4. Faulty emergency fire pump. One of the most important safety appliances on board ship, emergency fire pumps are thoroughly checked during every inspection. While preparing a checklist for maintenance prior to a survey, the emergency fire pump should come in the top 5. Important areas checked on emergency fire pump during survey: capability of a pump to run continuously for more than 5 minutes with maximum pressure, capable of supplying at least 2 jets of water, suction and delivery pressure, corrosion in gauge glasses. Number 5. Faulty oil-water separator. Oil-water separators, or OWS, have come under the scanners of shipping surveyors post several incidences of deliberate discharge of oil at sea and spot of unfortunate oil spill. These days, oil-water separators are handled and operated only by the chief engineer of the ship. Still, the equipment remains favorite among ship surveyors for inspections. Important areas checked on OWS: condition of oil discharge valve, condition of three-way valve, working of bulge alarm, oil inside the overboard outlet pipe. Number 6. Faulty fire damper or ventilator. Vents and dampers get corroded very easily because of difference in temperature. It is imperative to check them prior to inspections for corrosion in smooth operation of moving parts. Areas of fire dampers and ventilators most likely to be checked. Areas inside the ventilator are checked for corrosion. Damper condition inside the ventilator. Operation of moving parts of dampers. Condition of vent pipes. Number 7. Malfunction of launching arrangement. Along with the condition of launching arrangement, the working condition of the launching system is also checked. There are several areas that can be checked when it comes to such system, and therefore ship's professional should take extra care during the maintenance prior to the survey. Things that are often checked: condition on a load release gear system, inspection of block, sheave, and joint shackles, inspection of safety pin and release handle, condition of interlock lever, release operation. Number 8. Poor condition of air vent head. Air vent heads are also checked during surveys, especially those on open decks. Corroded air vent headed with holes can detain a ship for sure. Things that can be checked on air vent head: covers tightness of air vent, inspection of pipe condition for corrosion and holes, inspection of inside condition after removing the cover. Number 9. Poor condition of hatch combing stiffener. Maritime professionals on ships with hatches should be extremely careful about hatch combing stiffeners. Faults with hatch combing stiffeners have led to detaining of ships in the past. Common things are checked are surfaced for holes and corrosion, thickness and wear down limits after comparing with the original thickness. Number 10. Faulty hatch clit secure socket. Along with hatch combing stiffener, there are several other factors that are also checked when it comes to ship hatches, and the hatch clear secure socket is one of the important ones. Important things checked about hatch clit secure socket are clean clearance, especially for auto clean type, water tightness of hatch cover, condition of rail, top, and clit socket. Number 11. Faulty data in oil record book. In order to keep a track of any kind of spill at sea, both intentional and unintentional data of oil record book are often scrutinized not only by the ship owners but also by the surveyors. Any misinformation found in the oil data book can lead to the detention of the ship. It is imperative that entries are made in the form of accordance with the latest requirements. Moreover, any kind of disposal of oil residue at the sea should also be recorded properly in the oil record book. Number 12. Poor condition on fire dampers. Poor condition and improper working of fire dampers has led to detention of ships in the past. It is therefore necessary that fire dampers are properly checked for working condition. Things that can be checked: moving of handles, marking or sign with the name of the closable compartment along with open or closed position of the handle, condition of closure flap if any, condition of rubber packing and toggles, tightness of flaps. Number 13. Poor condition of electrical equipment and emergency lighting. Hazardous electrical equipment in poor working condition can detain a ship. All electrical equipment along the emergency lighting should be in safe working condition. Following things are often checked: condition of wires and switches, presence of flying cables or switches, covers of lamp and other kind of lightings, working of light which are supported by emergency power supply, condition of emergency supply. Number 14. Poor engine room cleanliness. Though engine room cleanliness is always taken care of prior to a survey, there are areas in the engine room that can be overlooked. It is therefore necessary that engine room of the ship is cleaned thoroughly prior to the inspection. Things that can be checked: oil and engine room, oil and engine room floor plates or deck, amount of residue and bilges, oil leakage from pipelines or machinery. Number 15. Outdated charts and nautical publication. Outdated charts and nautical publication used on ship will lead to detention of the ship. All charts and nautical publication used for intended voyage should be up to date. Things that can be checked during survey: Edition of nautical publications such as tide tables, pilot books, nautical almanacs. Edition of Notice to Mariner, IAMSAR, documents, and list of flights. Every nautical documents that need to be updated at regular interval of time. Number 16. Condition of generators, auxiliaries, pipes, and valves. Generators and auxiliaries are one of the most important part of the ship. Generator should be in proper working condition, should provide sufficient power. Auxiliaries should also be in up-to-date condition along with proper pipes and valves. Things that are checked: condition of emergency power supply, condition of valves and pipes, automatic starting of emergency power supply, leakage of pipes and valves, proper piping arrangement, presence of any illegal or plastic pipes.
Definition, demerge and detention. Demerge, it is a charge raised with the full container is not moved out of the port terminal for unpacking within the allowed 3 days offered by the shipping line. The charge is levied by the shipping line to the importer. Detention, also known as a per diem fee, is raised when the importer has picked up the container for unpacking, but the empty container has not returned to the nominated depot within the agreed free time. It is normal for a port to offer 3 to 5 days for free storage. However, each terminal has slightly different rules which can be changed at any time.